it's unbearable for reasons that Eddie can't fathom. So it must be that there's something wrong with Rodolfo. It must be. It has to be. And those things are that he's gay, that he sings, and the proof is that he has a high voice. And the proof is also he makes dresses. And the proof is that he cooks. Now, these are things that longshoremen do not do.
I think initially Eddie kind of picks away at Rodolfo physically. I think it challenges his manliness in terms of the kind of brute strength that Eddie has. I mean, all that stuff about boxing and can you box, and, you know, he sees him making dresses and cooking, and for Eddie, that's just bizarre behavior for a man. I think that's where he first begins to sort of niggle away at him, and then he kind of goes a bit further and says, well, actually, maybe you're not a man at all. Maybe you are homosexual, and that is the reason why you shouldn't be with Catherine. That is the reason. Eddie's
route to rationalize away and deny his own feelings is driven by an imperative. It's a compulsion. So that when he says to Alfieri, the guy ain't right, right means he's a queer. This guy's a queer. And that would be in a homophobic working society like that. That would be anathema. Does he invent that? He takes superficial events and constructs a belief out of them, which he is compelled to believe. So in that sense, yes, he believes it, but he is compelled to believe it because the alternative, the other choices he has, the alternatives are just too terrifying, too painful.
He clearly does have very passionate sexual feelings about his niece.
With your hair that way, you look like a Madonna. You know that?
Sexual feelings that he can't deal with because they're improper. He feels he shouldn't have them. In fact, there's no reason on earth why he shouldn't have sexual feelings about his niece. He's not a blood relative. It's his wife's niece, not his. But it's terrible if you actually are in a position of responsibility over that child. If you're a teacher, or if you're a youth worker, or if you're a guardian, obviously you can't allow any feelings you might have of that nature to have any life. So you have to repress them.
He's just a con man. He's a flim-flam artist. The man just wants his papers. He wants to get married, so he'll be a citizen. Then he'd go off. He'll leave her. He'd just dump her. He'll go away. Right? That's what I believe about this man. I don't see any substance in this man. I don't see anything here that says a man.
I think Eddie tells Catherine that Rodolfo's only after his green card because he wants her to see what he's seeing. At that point, I think Eddie truly thinks this guy is not good enough for you, and that is a concern for Catherine. So whether she believes him or not about the green card, I think what's more important is the fact that she believes that Eddie doesn't like him and that Eddie doesn't want her to like him. And because she's always listened to Eddie, I think she has a question mark in her head all of a sudden, and she thinks, well, what has he done to make you not like him? He hasn't done anything to you, so maybe you've got a valid reason, which could be the work permit.
It would make sense for Rodolfo to latch onto this girl in order to get a passport. Given the desperation of life in Italy at the time, anything, people do this all the time, by the way. It's not in the play, but people get married simply to get the passport. This is an old story. So he's got a good case.